Yeah, well, we've got 2 matches ready and ready to go. We've got winners finals, which is Fireicey versus Shayd, and we've got losers semi-finals as played by Calamari and Transco. 4 players that we love to watch, 4 players that are amazing at what they do, and 4 players fighting for their spot in grand finals. But 4 is going to become 2 as we're watching Fireicey play off against Shayd. Fireicey being the amazing Zetterburn we saw earlier, and Shayd being the amazing Oleana we saw earlier. How do you think of this as like a matchup, and what stages do you think we're going to see?
Stages-wise, yeah, Jules Will is just a go-to pick. It's such a neutral stage for both characters. We just saw a Fireicey parry Steam, which is a huge deal in a matchup. You can really get much out of it if you are good at parrying it. And the Eliana player has to be careful to not place the Steam in a position where the other player can just run up parry. The matchup is a bit debated. Personally, I think Zetterburn wins the matchup. That's my take. It's like a 55-45 thing because Zetterburn has shine. He can shine out of a lot of things Eliana is doing. But we have some Auras, Elianas where I play against. If you're not careful as Zetterburn and get up tilted, you can just easily die because Zetterburn's recovery isn't the best when it comes to speed. You hover a long time with your up special, and Eliana players are quite often able to just fly at you and F-strong you while you hover there. So that's something you have to keep in mind as Zetterburn player. I say as Shayd is taking such a commanding lead over Fireicey.
Yeah, they really are. Clutching onto that stock, only losing it at 188%. You can't be upset about losing a stock when you're like that. But we're going to be seeing Fireicey at 104%. Shayd looking to land that big final hit they're going to want, even if it isn't the blast zone. And one of the other big things that they can do now, especially because the last match we did see Shayd play was against Crag. And the big difference is that with this character, she will actually be able to shoot them off stage, unlike Crag, who actually kept on putting pillars and the like in the way. Fireicey, though, looking to get damage off, and as we saw earlier, they love their they love their advantage state. They love getting in on people and holding that pressure in. Amazing tech off the stage, by the way. At like, what was it, 155 into a tech roll? That was incredibly well placed. But Shayd laying out those traps and then finding the punish when you run into them.
Yeah, Fireicey evading death there quite often with very good DI. Misses the upstrom because he input dash attack there. Downstrom won't do it because Shayd DI'd in time. Both of them showing that they are good at DIing, but that even again. We are seeing so many matches where one player goes off with such a commanding lead and the other player just crawled slowly back to make the game even again, and that's just the beauty of a fighting game like Rivals of Aether, where you're never out until you're out. I say as Shayd DIs out the sweet spot fair and dies because of it.
You were right though, you were never out until you're out, and that does happen when you DI out. So we're going to be going in to game 2 with Fireicey obviously taking a first game lead. This time we're going to run it, well, not run it back per se, but same characters do get selected. These are these players' mains after all.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen Rocco quite often already. I've already said with Zetterburn, 2 sweet spot fairs and you can be dead to the side platform. But the same thing goes for a Shayd with his Eliana, but just with Nair. Like if you get up tilted and double Naired, you can easily die. And Nair and up air from Eliana are rather tough to DI, because if you DI them wrong, it just chains into the next one quite easily. But Fireicey having such a commanding lead and such nice combos, gets the dunk to take the second stock.
Oh my god! Incredible spike coming out of that, pushing Shayd off stage and then completely commanding them into that downward spike. But for now, Fireicey up at 125%, could be dying to a lot of stuff, and that F-strong is definitely going to be something that does do it.
Fireicey, one of the most consistent players we have in EU, if not the most consistent. He just is able to convert so many things into kills I wouldn't even imagine to hit in my dreams. And he just shows that he's able to use the platforms from Rockwall to carry Shayd up, and he has to die out, because if he hovers over those platforms, one Upstrong will just kill you. So Cellarburn has both horizontal and vertical kill options on this map because of the layout.
Yeah, that he does. But for now, Fireicey's going to be returning to the stage, but he's not going to spend much time there. Shayd always knocking him up. But speaking of knocking him up, Fireicey doing exactly that and sending Shayd to the top blast zone before Shayd has anything to say about it. Fireicey taking game 2.
Up tilt, nair, up strong. He did the same thing in his last set on Rockwall. That's what I said about consistency. It just does those things over and over again because they work. Because he's just so good at leveling things. He has over 4,000 hours in the game, the most in all of EU and more than many NA players. So the stuff he knows, he has nailed down to the cover. I say as he calls out Shayd's Shayd up special and just hits the snake with one forward air. It wasn't even a speed spot, and it was just over. No way Shayd could have recovered after that.
Shayd almost returning the favor. At 30 seconds in, we're seeing Shayd being a stock down, and then almost saying Fireicey's back. That's it! 35 seconds into the match, and we're seeing both players are stock down. These two are so momentum-based, and by God, are they both feeling the momentum at the moment. Shayd pushing in. There's that steam we've seen come into play and be very useful in the past, but we did see Fireicey parry it, but not this one. Going up to 51% now. Shayd going to be looking to abuse this extra percent that they found, but Fireicey not even giving them a chance, holding forward and not giving them a chance to get away, but there's the spike from Shayd we've seen once already. They know how to land it, and by God, when it lands, it feels good.
Yeah, especially on a map like Armada, where you don't have a wall that goes all the way down. There's nothing to tech that anymore. So if you get hit by that down strong from both characters, you'll just die. Good call out from Fireicey to keep charging that down strong, waiting out the parry from Shayd. Good combo from Fireicey. Doesn't get much out of it, but 40% or 40%. And 40% more, and we'd be at 80, and it's just 20 more, and Shine Upstrong would just kill.
That it would. Obviously, every single little bit of percent matters in a game like this. You can't ever turn your nose down at any of it. But we've seen Shayd sell those traps, but Fireicey denies, pushing through and using his parry to find his opening and take Shayd out the picture off the top. That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm just impressed. That's what I already said at the beginning with parrying Steam. Fireicey just did that, and using the invincibility